Welcome, and my name is Tumelo, aka Blackberry Kubani. Welcome to another special segment episode, and an interesting conversation I think we are going to have today. Today I have somebody, not too loud, because I'm sure that a lot of people will be very amazed if I was to describe you in any way, but not too loud, a very chilled guy, very prominent in the industry itself, Maestro, Mr. Khulu. Maestro, welcome, and it is an honor, a privilege for me to have this time. And be able to, have a conversation, be able to tap into some few topics. As I said before this particular conversation, that if I was to talk about you alone, we will need a full episode again. But we want to touch on a few things.
Thank you.
And welcome to the platform. This is Grand Piano Truth with Sia, and I am the co-host. On my side, we mostly do the show together most of the time, but today he's not here, so aye. Aye, but no, welcome to the platform. How are you today?
Thank you very much. No, I'm blessed. I'm very fine. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
No, absolutely. I don't want to tap into too much when it comes to, as I said, your profile. It's too huge, I think. Yeah, a humble person will always say, but it's huge. I think from my side, I would have met you at Kopanokoras. That's where I was a young man. Very, very young. I think 13, if not 14 there. And I would have met you there. Bratimoti was there, Thomas, and all the other guys who have, contributed to this particular journey that I think I'm on. And I know that with regards to your profile, you are a maestro, one of the orchestral owners in the country. Not just conducting an orchestra, but owning one, or necessarily having some form of contribution towards that kind of an organization. You are a choir conductor. You have won a state forts. You have won several competitions from your side. You are a conductor. Also being trusted. I think 1 year you conducted Kopano Chorus at the Nationals.
Correct. I think that was
2016, yes. Bulandi Koro.
Yes, correct.
Bulandi Koro. And I think Monty did the Western performance, and then you did the African performance on the Sunday.
Correct.
Yeah, I remember seeing you then. I was like, because no one ever thought to run. The choir conductor could let the choir. So it was something. So it shows, the amount of experience and body of work that you've put in. So, but I just wanted to maybe get a brief view, because most of the time we just go into the merits, but we never get what inspired you to be able to be a participant in the industry and say, I like this art form and this is what maybe I would like to do. Whether I have a career or not, but I would like to contribute. What maybe was the motivation, and maybe who would have been the person who motivated you to be where you are today?
No, thank you very much. I think this started a very long time ago when I was a very young boy. Grew up in a village called Biketlo in Qwaqwa in the Eastern Free State.
Right?
Yeah.
Very cold.
It's
cold.
Very cold. No. During this season it is very cold. It's extremely cold.
Sure.
That is where I was raised and grew, and I started choral music. I think those days we were calling it, at school we were calling it Standard 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I started to sing at lower primary. Mm-hmm. And then went to the senior primary. I was also a part of the member of the choir. But then that a person who really inspired me was my late father, because he was also a choral conductor, choir manager, a tenor singer.
He was a tenor.
Yes.
Nice things. was it 10?
Yeah, yes. So that is where I also develop that love for music. And when I moved from Free State to Gauteng, somewhere started to see things changing. It's no longer about singing again. It's also part of a career, is also a business opportunity. And then that is where I started then to invest in myself in terms of studying, in terms of also before only, because you remember that once when I arrived here in Gauteng, I had very young boy, but I started now to be a conductor already. I arrived here as a conductor, but that did not prevent me to even join the choir where we have met at Kopano Chorus.
Yes.
I was a member there. I was not even a conductor. I was a member because I believed that one needs to always have that opportunity to be led and to learn from other people so that you can be able to be better.
No, absolutely, and I get all of, but when maybe you were in Kwakwa, what choir did you maybe affiliate with back in the day that maybe you would have joined before maybe you joined Kopano Chorus? Like it was there maybe, because I think there was Tabang Chorus at that point, or you had some other choirs in the Free State that were there, but I don't know, maybe from your side, what would have been the one that maybe you would have aligned to or anything?
No, during those days, I can't lie that the church choirs were very predominant. They dominated the sector. I will make an example that I was a member of Dutch Reformed Church,
sure,
what we call NG Kerk. And our choir would participate in the church competitions, and then we'll also participate in the community competitions. There used to be a very big competitions in the Free State. They call it UNESCO.
UNESCO, yes.
Yeah, it was sponsored by one of the companies. I can't remember the name. We'd compete there with community choirs. And most church choirs would win there because music those days in Gekerk, those that know in Gekerk, they know that the choirs from that church were very powerful in terms of choral music.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Even now, I think if I'm not incorrect to say that church would be URC or something.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes,
so if then it's that case, I know that the type of material that the church has produced, necessarily even with the Catholic Church, Lutheran also, but I know when it comes to URC, I think it's funny now because now you sing for Kopano Chorus and most of the guys there. You'll get them at Dutch. Vincent Moyo, the chairperson of the choir, would have been there. Thomas has been there. I think Tsepo now is currently even the conductor in Shoshanguvi. So, just to broaden up the conversation, we have just been through the elections now, and the situation is a little bit, on a conversation side because we are still trying.
It's very tense now.
It's tense. People are trying to reach some form of consensus on a coalition. We have, ideological differences that some people who are potential, partners within the coalition, do not necessarily align with some particular, ideology that would have been taken thus far for the past 30 years. But I just want to look at the arts on our side. How do you think, maybe a coalition is going to affect the current programs that are there? Because now, if we were to say something and just like maybe be blunt, the past 30 years, everything that is there has been built by the ruling party or the liberation movement, which has been there. So I don't know now, with them not having absolute majority, are we going to have pull out when it comes to certain programs? Even, Sasce, it's something that is a government initiative.
Correct.
So I just want to get your feel. Do you think there would be a drastic change when it comes to our sector? I know that we have been overlooked over the years, but looking at the current structure that might be there, are there things that can be done to improve the situation, or are we going to be in a situation where we see our programs being dissolved or anything of that sort? Yeah.
Let me take from your last point. I think, honestly, the there's not much that the ruling party has done in terms of promoting arts. I'm not talking about one project that will say is Sasce, but
yes.
I'm talking about the entire arts. I think they have done a little, and as choral genre, we do not find much expression. And again, in terms of fundings, in terms of support from government, it depends who you know. It depends who you are associated with. At least then you can get some funding. But in the entirely, like for example, I cannot think about many projects or many choirs that would get an assistance. The only time is when maybe we require. I know at some point we used to do a whole lot of performances at the union buildings. Maybe there is a celebration of some sort, and then we'll be invited. At some point, you'll just be invited there to sing the national anthem, and after that,
it's done.
Yeah, it's done. There's no support from that. But then, we have changed the ministers of arts and culture. I don't know, about 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, and even that role is a hot potato now, because we even have the current minister now in court, and he has resigned, I think today, if not yesterday, because of some charges. But yeah, it's very bad now that the sector has to be associated with those kind of things, which I think we have known in the background, but we're just keeping quiet because we're not that prominent in the industry where we are saying we have a voice.
Exactly. Yeah. And some of the things you just ask, even the current minister who just left now, what did he do for choral music? Because people must, we must always remind our leaders that choral music during the apartheid time had a very strong voice. Yeah. But unfortunately, after we post-apartheid, but then it was overlooked. Because you would expect same support that soccer, same support that cricket, same support that rugby has, to be also be channeled to choral music. But we only now find ourselves now confined into one space under the Department of Basic Education, which is Sasce. But for entirely, in terms for those that are in community choirs, for those that have pursued music, who wants to pursue more, but they don't have much access, because even again the funding is always a problem. That no people, they apply, they don't get a feedback, or they apply, they get the regret letters. And then you just ask yourself, what is the entire purpose of this Department of Arts and Culture?
Absolutely. If it cannot do much
into our space, because then we don't have that support. So it's very concerning.
And you are touching a very important point when you're saying our contribution as a sector or as an industry has been very immense and very big when it comes to also the contributions that we would have made with regards to apartheid and necessarily building unity around the country. If I'm correct and I'm analyzing things well, because now it's just coming from the top of my head, I think there were 2 projects that necessarily would have been very essential to the unity of the South African people. That was the creation of the current national anthem, and also with regards to us pushing for sports. And when we talk about the national anthem, this is necessarily choral music,
correct,
in its form, where even Professor Mzilikazi had to preside over that particular writing, and even that last section where we have the English version of the anthem. But it seems like when it comes to the 2 projects that were then necessarily being pushed, there was one that was done, then we did it, and then we had a national anthem. We are fine. The sector is no longer important now.
Correct.
And then we went to rugby did the same investment, and now that particular investment is growing, and we are producing even the kind of attention and also the kind of achievements. We have international stars, pretenders there, we can name them, and
whole range of them.
a whole range. It's like we are not doing our best to be the best in the world. We even have a world choir a game champion in our ranks, and even where it's relatable within our race. So I'm just asking a question of saying, what is different about maybe the arts that is not being taken seriously as they've taken, the Chasing the Sun project seriously, but with us contributing to the unity, how we contributed to it? Why are we different?
Yeah, no, it's questionable. Like, for example, I know I'm one of those that also knocked in various government offices where we're looking for sponsorships in terms of the projects that we wanted to do. But it's sadly because we are saying the government is ours, but still we do not even get that support from the government that we claim to say is ours. And so that is a challenge. And is also the question that that is very sad, that who do you know?
Yes, absolutely.
Who are you connected to?
Yes.
And truly speaking, there's not much that our government has done. Yes, we've got a whole range of international stars now, coming from some from the very deep rural areas.
Yes.
But now they are international stars. But those were because of the space that the conductors created for them.
Yes.
And then they end up
overseas, maybe.
Moving. But still, our government, it does not even recognize them. Let's make a practical example. Tyler just won Grammy Awards.
Yes.
And there was a special arrangement for her, I think somewhere in the Mall of Africa.
Yes.
Where the minister, the one that just resigned, was there to acknowledge her and this and this and this. But then when you look in the people like your Pretty,
yes,
how much accolades does she has?
And that's why I'm saying I don't understand what is different about our sector, because we have been on that stage and doing so well.
Very good.
Like, very, very well. We are not international now. We have been international, like, ever since, everything has been taking place.
And with regards to Pretty, we have her performing at the Met. You have her performing at the coronation of a king. That is a once in a lifetime opportunity, because we are not talking about the king of any other monarchy, but the most prominent one ever. Like,
exactly.
And we are talking about those things. But when it comes to the recognition that should be there, we have not done much. That is absolutely true. But I don't know. It's a question that is in a gray area, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we're just hoping. I know some earlier you touched around the current situation that we're finding ourselves now, where the ANC did not get the majority percentages, and there's a talks of coalition right now. And we are just hoping that the new incumbent that will lead us, the new Minister of Arts and Culture, not focusing only on sport, but then should know that there are also arts and cultural activities that we need that indaba with government, so that they know the space that we're living in and what type of assistance that we may require from them, and also what kind of contributions that the sector has made in our communities itself. There are a whole lot of range. You know that various communities will have a whole lot of kids be surrounded in one room, in one space, so that then they can be excluded from other things that are happening in the community, like your crime and so forth, and drugs and so forth and so forth. But because they are collected in one space, because it's not all about singing again.
Yes.
It's also about teaching life skills to these kids. Yeah. So as soon as we have the new minister, I think that is why also, unfortunately, we will need to keep on knocking until someone has us. And then maybe then somehow we might have a change, because we really need change. We really need a support in terms of our businesses as well as government. Yeah. Now, at least later, we have other businessmen that have came into the space and to promote the space. And we need also to appreciate that.
Absolutely. And just then, because I think it's a nice transition just to go into the topic now, because now we are talking about development. We are talking about necessarily what the arts is doing when it comes to, limiting the youth on the streets, all of these bad ills or social ills that we have.
Correct.
So we get to the South African School Choral Estate Fort. This is our annual event. I was privileged. I participated there.
Nice.
Grew up there. That's where I think
the space.
Yeah, the space. A lot of the guys saw me there, and all of that. We have the 2024 edition of this particular event. It's proving to be interesting. I was very concerned about the music last year, but it seems like the choirs are doing very well, because when I look at the marks and how, the guys have been able to adjudicate and, give some form of remarks and reviews with regards to the current performances, it seems like the quality is coming back. We can no longer talk about COVID now. It's no longer part of the conversation. We must move on. But this year, for you, I think maybe just before I ask about certain songs, which songs from your side, with regards to your analysis and you being part of, several panels that you would have been there, which songs do you think are a little bit challenging and people would need to look at when it comes to the music that is being selected this year, the pedagogy around it, or how you should approach and the music sense when it comes to that particular music? From your side, which ones do you think maybe, have been difficult to adjudicate, and also you feel that they're difficult even for the maestros and the kids? Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks. I think maybe we need to appreciate the work that the Department of Basic Education is doing in promoting choral music. Yes. At a very young age. You would note that this year there's a new category, they call it ECD. For the very, very, very young ones at grade RRR.
I have to, okay, I didn't know that one. I have to hear them. I'm sure they're very interesting.
At least I was attending one of the competitions not so long ago, about a week ago. And then we had different private crutches. They came to participate because they were encouraged to participate. It was very nice to see them at that age also trying to understand how the music goes, in terms of compositions, how they should sing and so forth. But kids will always be kids. Yeah. But I think we need to applaud the department, and also to ensure that this program is also sustainable, because that is very key. We have passed the COVID stages, but it's still here. And then, And in terms of the music, I think the grade 5 to 7, the Western song, Come Away Sweet Love. It's a very nice song. It's nice. You listen to the song, you feel, I know this is a very nice song. Yes. But in terms of getting into the music and executing it, it's very difficult. Just a brief on the song, that what I have observed is that firstly, the conductors, they need to understand their style of compositions, which is very key. Before you can even go into the details, you need to understand the style of compositions, so that then you are familiar, so that your approach is correct to the music. This song comes from the madrigals. The madrigals, in terms of the approach, you need to be very flexible, and the choir needs to be lively and bright. But now you see that in the music, and somewhere you note that the music, it is in what we call a cut-off time. It is in your 2/4 instead of your common time. And again, what is very challenging that I have observed, if you are not very good with notations, then it becomes a challenge in that song. So there are very few areas that the conductors need to get them right. The style of the music, correct notation, and also have ability to sing those modulations correctly.
Yes, because it does go to a few places.
On
the music, I know. Yeah.
And somewhere the third line, the tenor, when they modulate, they use a chromatic note, and that then now it starts now to be a chaos, because once that they don't get it right, then it affects the other two parts,
the whole choir.
And then now the whole choir now starts to hear now the imbalance in terms of sound, and so that is one song. But we need also to acknowledge. I've went to Northwest, to Mpumalanga, Limpopo.
Yeah. Mpumalanga, I know. I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard, but I for me, because I had, I think, a privilege of just listening or maybe working with a choir from the Northern Cape, especially on that song. And that's where I think I got the complexities of this one is not just a walkthrough. We need to really pay attention. And I think the songs have been like that for primary, especially the Westerns. Very educational when it comes to what the choir should be able to achieve, and also giving a sense of, employing what I would call musical intelligence to the kids. And that's what maybe also what is needed on this song, even this year again.
Look, correct. Everything, that song, Come Away Sweet Love, unfortunately, if you are not an experienced conductor, you really need to go out and look for someone to assist you, so that if your notations, we start firstly with notation. If the notation is incorrect, then it tells you the entire structure will be wrong. And somewhere the choirs will sing, then you just said, you're not sure. Other times when you go to other places, you said, is it the correct song for this category? Yes. And then you go to other places, then you said, no,
it's the one.
Right. So that has it. I'm saying it depends again in terms of how experienced the conductor is. Yes. But the good part, I know that if it's not 100%, but over 90%, before the conductors goes to the stage, they do have those musical workshops, which really assist them in terms of advice how to approach the music. So we also need to applaud that. But for the choirs that will be going forward on this piece of music, they just need to understand the whole how do you explore this madrigal style of singing, and also the issue of accuracy of pitch, accuracy of notation, and also ensures that there's the balance between these three parts. It's very key. Somewhere they're doing falala, falala, falala. So then you need to ensure that every section is well displayed, so that it's not about just singing, but then we need to feel that this whole three voice parts, they are moving together.
That was intonation simplified to say intonation. Asking people are always asking, what is intonation? I think that is a better definition to say key areas that need to make the music sound correct, be necessarily correct when it comes to the notation, the blending, the balance of the choir itself, and how the music should be. Apart from Come Away Sweet Love, hey, Letlomelatente wrote a song.
Yes. Yeah.
Letlomelatente wrote a song as Mahale.
Yes.
I think from my recollection, when it comes to all the music I've seen, it's the second song that I'm seeing that is in 8/8. The first time we heard an 8/8 song coming, we heard it from the National Choir Festival, and it was in Ngolema Sondo Sondo.
Yeah.
In 2017, it was going like 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
So we have that problem again now, because
Yes.
now we have it now in the school space. Like, maybe what can be your advices on that particular song before I go to the last two that I want to go to? But on this one, like, because I think the tempo has been a very concerning thing, and maybe how to count. Maestro Sidwell has tried to facilitate some form of, workshop and educational videos where he dispatches knowledge to say this is how you can do it. But from your side, how you have observed it? Like, how maybe can it be simplified so that we can get much more better performances and much more confident ones going into the, the rounds that we are heading to now?
Yeah, no, this song, Semahali, I'm glad like that you talked around the issue of the time signature. Yes, it's not familiar time signature that you find in most compositions. It's quite rare. And then, but firstly, before we talked about Semahali, that your 8/8, you can do it in many ways.
Yes.
You can do 2-2-2-2-2-2.
Yes.
To get your 8, or you can do your 3-2-3.
Yes.
Or you can do your 3-3-2.
Yes.
So, but then in this case, to be able to exploit the correct rhythms, then it will go your 1-2-3, 1-2-3, and your last one will be your 1-2.
Okay.
So then it means you put more emphasis on beat number 1, beat number 4,
yes.
and beat number 7.
Yes.
So that you always get that. Yes. So
beat number 1. Beat number 4, beat number 7.
Yes.
Focused.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So that so so that we are able then to exploit the correct rhythms, and then go to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, it starts from there. But again, the piano accompaniment should be able also to assist you, because it starts to introduce that. So then again, the conductors in terms of beating of time, because we have seen them, some were just doing
clapping sometimes, because it gets frustrating when you cannot just indicate it, and then it gets there and you are dealing with the young ones we already know.
Some we need also to note that some of the teachers, they did not actually go to the music school. They are there to teach geography, they are there to teach social sciences, English, and so forth and so forth. But because again of the love for music, and then they decided, let them also gather the kids together and form the choir. Hence that even us as adjudicators, when we adjudicate, in most cases where I had the privilege to be a QA, when I talk to the panel, I will always encourage that, let us remember that our writing should not be harsh or destroy, but it should be informative. And then we cannot always say you did this wrong, but then you need to say this is how you do it, but then you can do it betterly this way. So that your mark sheet also forms as a teaching guide or a teaching tool, so that even a next person when reads that said, okay, here we did this, then we advise to do it this way, not just point, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, but how do you advise them? So then we need also to note that some of them, the teachers, they did not have that formal choral training. And so the issues of conducting your compound time and other and other time signatures is going to be a problem to them. So then it is where then we need also to give them a guidance on how to approach it, and we need also to acknowledge the conductors that also goes to the schools to assist.
Yes.
Yeah, but then when you're going back to Semahali, one key is the time signature.
Yes.
That the choirs must get it correctly. And I have observed the issue of language, more especially when you go to other places where they are not familiar with Sotho,
yes.
Especially those that are talking Swati,
Yes.
Sindebele, and Zulu. Yeah, but that cannot serve as an excuse why people they are singing wrong text, because we have Sotho speakers here in the country,
yes.
And they just phone call away just to say, can you just clarify this text? How do I pronounce this text? So that you ensure when the choir goes to the stage, they sing correct text. That is a second area that I've picked up where we have assessed the choirs. And the third one is also how you choose your sextet, because in the middle of the song,
yes.
then there is a sextet there. Yeah. The teachers then they will or conductors they will pick up some of the best voices. Yes, it's good to pick up best voices, but then how do those voices complement each other?
Absolutely.
And then how do you ensure that this sextet is well balanced? So those are some of the areas. And also lastly, the role of the conductor now is also to ensure in this song that the coordination between the choir and the accompaniment.
Yes.
And one tricky part is that once the choir can be off pitch, that is going to be easy to pick up, because then the accompaniment will always be there on the pitch.
Yes.
And then so then you have a number of things that the choir must look into when you conduct into this song: time signature, correct text.
Yes.
You know, text we talking the issue of the usage of consonants.
Yeah. You know, the insinuations of the
exactly,
sound. Because we do
exactly,
not pronounce things the same.
Exactly.
As culturally.
Yeah.
You have things that you say in Sotho. Some may are a little bit pitched because of a particular consonant that is there. Or,
correct.
You know, it's a little bit deeper when it comes to those. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And then that on its own, then it starts to affect your sound.
Yes.
And somewhere that is where the issue of accuracy of pitch then will kick in. But overall, it is not a difficult song.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a difficult song as compared to other song that is not. Yeah. So once the conductor can get the time signature correctly and ensures that there is a good coordination between the choir and the accompaniment, mm-hmm. and the texts are correct, and then what I liked about this composition is that Otente did not provide this whole lot of decorating the music with dynamics and this and this. Yeah. No, it's not there.
Yeah.
The music sheet is just empty. It's just the music. So we need then the conductors to use
themselves
what we call then your word painting.
Yes.
Then they go through the text and then said, okay, this is how then I will do my forte here. This is how I'll do my piano here, my crescendo and so forth. Yes. But overall,
a great song, I think.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen somewhere even the choirs they even went to the extent they will have the flags with the pictures of Nelson Mandela over Tambos, and someone then they will have that picture of our national flag. Yeah, so you see those elements of creativity, then it shows then the conductors then they have done their homework correctly.
Absolutely. Maybe just to get to maybe the conclusion of our conversation. I know it's too short. I know it's too short. But a little birdie whispered to me that this year we might be having a very different version of the finals, and maybe some phases of the competition, maybe province or whatsoever, where now we want our school conductors or school choirs to sing alongside the orchestra, because this has been a privilege that was reserved only for ensembles and solos. That's the only time all of us would get very excited at the Rema, because Michael Dingani is tuning the orchestra there. Lately I've seen Itumele Mpoya. I think I've seen also also being there. But from your side, being somebody who is experienced with the orchestra, we have the Western songs. If I was going to go to A, we have Dixit, we have Domino Jesu Christe from Mozart. We then have at the senior B, we have Ave Vorum Corpus, and then we would have Rejoice or Rainbow Nation.
Never Again.
Never Again. They say it's a Western, but the composer is like here in the East, coming from KZN, but it's fine. But from your side, maybe what are the tips that you would give when it comes to orchestral performance with that? And then also, how would you say you would want to achieve, or you want a better performances from all of those? Maybe noting certain things to watch out on those songs, and also trying to maybe link them to maybe what an orchestra would need in order for you to direct, give certain things, because they're not the same. Domina Jesu Christe, I know it's one thing. When you start it sounds like it's coming from somewhere already. If you start the song like
a musical already started.
It needs to come from some certain place, because you can even hear the way Mozart was doing the orchestration. It's not like you have to start somewhere. You can just even if you can, it's just going to flow. But I'm just trying to get from you, because even Dixit is a powerhouse of a song.
Correct.
It's an equal match to that one. But maybe from your side, when looking into those songs, all maybe 4 of them, Never Again will be very interesting to hear this year, because I've never heard the orchestral version. I know the other 3, but I don't know about it. But from your side, what maybe might be some pickup points, advice, so that they know when it comes to that?
Maybe starting, because now we will have 3 songs actually, because the other one, Ave Verum, is a cappella.
Yes, sorry.
And which is by the way, which is very tricky song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is very tricky song. The music written in minor mode, and I was worried when I analyzed the 2 songs, taking into consideration the Ave Verum vis-a-vis Never Again. I just thought that no, the choirs will automatically sing Never Again.
Yes.
But then I was surprised to see where I have assessed where we have assessed the choirs, that it's about 50-50. The choirs, they are doing Ave Verum, and some they're doing it extremely well.
Yes.
Extremely well. But again, when we go to Never Again, it's going to be much interesting in terms of how the orchestration has been done.
Yeah, has been done.
Because so far we are exposed to the piano. Accompaniment.
Yes.
And somewhere in the music, there's an instruction from the composer that the pianist
at liberty.
They are free then they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So now you ask yourself, how will then be the orchestration will be done? But again, another instruction is that the song should be in the gospel style, and then it just tells you, then you remove yourself from our formal choral singing.
Yes.
Yeah, but overall, in terms of conducting the orchestra, firstly, let's appreciate the motion that the choirs, they will be
its growth
accompanied by the orchestra.
Absolutely.
And for the very first time, that you will find about 90% of the conductors is their first time conducting the orchestra. So then with one thing that is key now, I'm hoping that immediately after the provincial eliminations, and then the National Executive Committee then starts to share the orchestra scores with those conductors that are proceeding to the nationals, so that now they can start now to analyze them. Remember, now it's no longer a choir and a pianist. Now you'll have about 30 to 40 people now in front of you. Is one playing first violin, second violin, viola, cello, double bass, some trumpets, and so forth and so forth. So then, as a conductor now, the role of the conductor now will be elevated, because now he or she needs to know all of these parts. How this one comes, which part, and so forth. So then it's key that they have access to those music sheets prior they travel to the nationals. And secondly, at least to have 1 or 2 rehearsals with the orchestra. We know due to time,
something you can get 15 minutes.
It might be last 10 minutes. But we need to be maybe then is something that can be done. It's just to organize a workshop, even if it's a provincial workshops with those conductors, or even call them in one room, so that at least they have a session before. Because remember that conducting orchestra, conducting the a cappella, conducting a choir and a pianist,
different.
They differ. They differ, because now, and again, in terms again of the space, a person in terms of the space is here, and the first singer is here. So now you are here, and the singer they are there.
Now. The only thing you can hear now, most of the time, which is dominant, is this.
So then there are a whole lot of things that now the conductors they must work in, and we need to appreciate this initiative. And again, it goes back to how matured is our audience, because at some point, us as audience, we also contribute towards attacking the conductors, attacking the organizers, without understanding the intentions. Because let's give our conductors this year said, okay, let's give them an opportunity to grow, because this is their first time. And then moving forward, then we would expect them, because remember that someone who we have conductors that conducts community choirs. They are used to the orchestra.
Yes, absolutely.
But then you'll have those that is their first time. Very, very, very first time. They don't even know what their expectations are.
No, as you said, like, you have teachers who are doing the music because they love it, but have they been exposed to that amount of scope of work? Because now when you go to the first violin, and then you have to focus on first soprano and other things which you are used to at and you are used to rehearsing with Richard the whole year. Sorry, Richard. You are used to rehearsing with Richard or to me the whole year. You are perfect. You are synchronized. But now you have to deal with these guys that you have like 15 minutes with. So I think it's only fair that, as you're saying, it is a developmental program. We are trying to, or the commission is trying to shift the space, providing more education with regards to what can be done in the space of music, and also access to resources, because this is access to resource.
Correct.
I just hope that the conductors will be able to go there. The call to the National Executive Committee then, if not provincial workshops, we should have maybe a conductors weekend, where you take the guys there. Not only have the music that they are going to conduct, maybe just have simple songs, like few simple songs, concerto, something that maybe might be, the Marriage of Figaro, something of that sort. Just to make sure that they know exactly what would be expected, or maybe for them to be able to communicate with the orchestra more. I don't know.
Maybe again another approach we could follow what the NCF did previously. That you'll have the conductors workshop, and then with the orchestra,
and then
is their session only,
Yes.
and then the second one then
Then
is
we
the
do it with the
conductor
choir.
and the choir.
Absolutely.
Then I think that time at least now starts to one will have a confidence now, rather than as for a very odd reasons that one conductor did not manage to have any result with the orchestra. Then we'll see the orchestra for the first time on stage.
It has happened. There are some people who have driven without even holding the score.
Yeah.
They just borrow it backstage.
Exactly.
But because maybe they have some form of relationship with the choir, and maybe the music when it comes to the choir and the conductor is fine. Maybe the conductor can at some particular point in the music just focus on the very important entries that will be there. But it has happened. But I hope with this one, because I think we have better logistics and all of that. Conductors should make themselves available. I think this is one time that we need to work a little bit more with the practitioners, so that we are able to give ourselves that particular knowledge or get that particular knowledge, whether you are a teacher, an experienced conductor, or anything in that particular sort. But comments received, and I think we should have a part 2, eh? Is it? Yeah, we should have a part 2, man, so that we can get into detail when it comes into the music. But appreciate your time.
No, thank you very much.
It has been an absolute honor. The conversation is flowing too much. It's like the Nile River. So, from my side, I just wanted to appreciate your time, and just on behalf of others who might not be able to say it, your contribution to the industry has been great. Immense. Limpopo, we can't even talk about it. It's huge. It's like you come from that side or something. But and now I know that you come from the province of Mangata and Thabo Makhabesele and others. But I appreciate your time. I just wanted to extend that way. Then on the second segment, now we come and cover you now. And other things that might be important. Correct. And we can use the platform to share information, because sometimes you are limited to a hall and you can only speak to a particular district or a particular number of teachers. So with this platform, information is able to be dispatched. I know also from his side, he's a scholar. There will be a lot.
Yeah,
there will be a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So at home, that comes to, or brings us to the end of today's segment. One thing you should not forget, which is very important, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, because we do want to have these conversations. We don't want to sit here and then we do not even have interaction at home, because this is education for you, and we are bringing it from our side. Goodbye.